Hello everybody, welcome to Beer Reviews, this time from the kitchen because we're trying for a little bit of changing scenery. And today's beer that we are going to be trying is another one I picked up in Copenhagen. This is Mikkeller's American Style Brett Fermented IPA. It's a collaboration with Prairie, who have just exploded onto the scene in America, doing kind of farmhouse ales and slightly funked beers. So, American Style Indian Pale Ale fermented with Brettanomyces. What does that mean? It means that it's going to have a particularly low final gravity, so it's going to be particularly dry. Hopefully meaning that hop flavours can burst and spring a bit. Now, you might say, sour beer, fermented, Brettanomyces, it's going to be sour, right? It's going to be funky. Not necessarily, and I hate the Mikkeller's big bottle caps are a pain in that side. Just about got it. Not necessarily. Different strains of Brett have different characters, just like different strains of yeast. This one they used in particular is Brett Custerianus, I want to say, which is well known for being quite a dry fermenting Brett. In so much it doesn't give a humongous amount of funk, nor does it leave a humongous amount of funky flavours. All it does is, in particular, is make it a very dry beer. Really get that sugar content in the beer down and produce it in alcohol. So this one's 7.5%, and as you can see, it's a lovely deep copper apricot colour. It laces like a heavenly amount, which I find a lot with these sour beers these days, and it's quite cloudy. I'm assuming it's conditioned in the bottle. Could be completely wrong, who knows, who knows. Ooh, it says what hops they use: Citra, Nugget, SARS, Centennial and Columbus. It's got a good collection of hops in there, and I tell you what, I can smell it. But as I was saying, it doesn't. This Brett doesn't particularly leave such a hefty flavour. Personally, I've used Brett Dry or Brett Trois, which is the dry Fontaine Brett strain, and that's another one that in particular doesn't leave too much of a Brett smell or flavour. So let's get a nose on this. Oh man. God, you know what? It really stinks of citro. Stupendously mango. I am going to say there is a little sort of hint of like straw, kind of a, well, I want to call it kind of barnyardy smell. Really dank, stupidly dank mango in there too though. There's a little bit of pepper and spice, and you could really say there is some grapefruit. But I'm genuinely surprised at how much this smells of Citra. It really does. I've just done a Citra beer at work, and it's stupidly dank. And this is very similar in aroma profile, at least, to a single hop Citra IPA. Again, it came out about 7.4, so they're roughly the same ABV for that matter. But stinks of Citra, and that is a brilliant thing. Cheers everyone, let's give this a try. Oh, it's juicy. It's really juicy. First things first, the body is actually quite chunky. It's quite medium. Very unusual for a very dry beer. The residual sugars usually help add to the body. Obviously, alcohol in this, 7.5%, has boosted that. I'm assuming they've used wheat or something to give it an extra chunk, extra little nugget, just to give it a bit more mouthfeel, a bit more body to it. Nice level of carbonation as well. Initial onrush in the mouth is just the hint, merest hint of a slight biscuit. Very subtle though, and then you get the carbonation, and then at the back end you get a humongous pungent hit of Citra. And hops in general. It's very dank, it's very mangoey. I can get a lot of grapefruit in it too. That probably helps with the dryness, because at the end of the palate it dries up and you get a little bit of barnyard funk just at the end. It isn't totally in your face, it's not as crazy as an unblended 2-month-old Gers or a Lambic. It's quite subtle. It is very dry at the end. It's kind of juicy at the front and it dries out right at the end, snaps away, and you just get a continued hop flavour and a little bit, just a tiniest hint the tiniest hint of that funky barnyard flavour just at the back of the palate. Now, what you might be thinking is, what begs the question is, why would you produce a super hoppy beer with a lot of hops in it and then use a Brett strain that isn't going to produce a particularly Bretty flavour? Why not just use ale use and make a fantastic IPA? Well, I think the key to these beers, at least, is the evolving amount of flavour. The fact that you can get such a dry palate that the hops can really sing off it. Even when you get a double IPA these days, the super stupid hop monsters. Take for example the Heady Topper that I had. I remarked on how balanced it was and how you still got this sweet caramel and juicy peaches and creamy mouthfeel. And the malt plays a really pivotal role, and they are still sweet, and they can almost be like very heavily hopped barley wines. What you get with these Brett IPAs is that particular, like, get away as much of the malt as possible, let the hops be pretty much the dominant flavour and aroma profile. Along with just that little bit of complexity by having the funk in there, but it almost blends in. That funk almost just blends in with those hoppy flavours. If you've got a really dank, particularly resinous and weed kind of smelling and tasting beer, and that blended in with the hops, you really probably could not tell that this was Brett fermented. You would just say this is a stupidly hoppy, really well thought through and hopped beer, and that's why I like it. That's why I really love this. I adore Brett IPAs. I've only done one other review on a Brett IPA on Bear Beer Reviews, and that was at Font Bar in Manchester. It was Evolver by Wild Beer Company, had it on keg, and I was so disappointed, which says a lot, because this is absolutely fantastic, and Wild Beer are absolutely fantastic as well, for that matter. And I'll certainly try Evolver again and do a review from bottle maybe, or something like that. Well, this must be relatively fresh, I'm assuming. I don't know, because the hop flavours are still absolutely popping and zinging. It's super hoppy. That dry palate just really helps them sing. It could just be, I mean, the aroma and the flavour is magnificent, and I love the dry palate at the end. I like the fact it's not too sweet and caramelly. Doesn't particularly taste boozy. It's just an interesting take, and I love funk. I love the flavour of funk. I love the flavour of sour beers, or Brett fermented beers. So it hasn't got the acetic or lactic profile. It just has a little bit of Brett flavour at the back end. It's lovely. It's really good. So in terms of rating, personally, this is right in my street. This is exactly what I love. Sort of cutting edge beers and new styles that are being produced. I still don't see any other reason than giving it a good 9 and 9.5. I just think this is great. It's genesis of a new styles. It's going to be more and more in vogue. More and more interestingly fermented beers are going to come around, and long may they live. Long may they live. It's magnificent. So thank you for listening to me blab on about Brett and about my love of everything funk. I have got, if I haven't mentioned it 10 times already in other reviews, I bought myself a Mikkeller barrel, an oak barrel. It was bourbon before they used it, and when they used it they put in black, the 18.2% stout, imperial stout, into that, and then they've emptied it out and they've sold them on, and I have that barrel sitting upstairs in my room, which I'm hopefully going to produce a Solera beer. It's only 30 litres, so I could have quite a lot of loss and quite a lot of oxidation in it, so I thought, well, I'm not going to age something for a long time in it unless it's going to use that oxidising factor, so I thought, well, I might as well make a sour, and this is probably what I might go for first, is a Brett fermented IPA, see if I can get some oak flavours, and then go from there and produce a proper Solera beer, or even just take out half of the IPA and just rack in a lambic or something, and then go for a long aged super sour magnificent wonder with all the bugs in the world, pediococcus and lactobacillus and stuff as well. But yeah, please like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you think if you have had this, or indeed other Brett IPAs. 100% Brett IPAs I might add as well. And until the next Bear Beer review, cheers.